Yes, he tested both. Yeah. Thank you. All right, here, fine.
What was that?
Anyone else wind up showing up?
Yeah, Janice is in the locker room.
I think I'd probably do something. We should probably do something with Kyrie tonight. Usually I avoid the press conference. You know, got the ball 10 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, he did.
While he's still in. After I'll hit that three, they can run the ball. You turn around and walk straight to the locker room. I'm pretty sure he was still in the game. I'm almost positive he was still in the game. If you see it, we should say 24 minutes in the box score.
That was his last game.
It certainly appears that it may be.
That was brutal. It looks like she quit.
No, Vander just was kind of a microcosm of Irving's whole season. He was either trying to do too much or wasn't doing enough when they needed him to do it. Which will probably be the basis of what I read.
Well, Bruins are up 3-0.
Yeah, that's good. This will be something to do for you. I don't know what I'll be doing come next week, but it'll be something to do for you.
Just a reminder, please, folks, say your name and affiliation before asking questions of the coaches and players. Thank you.
Just, I think the competitiveness of the group for 4 quarters, we've been down, I think, the first quarter, maybe every game, and second quarter, find a way to ride it a little bit, and third and fourth quarter, just defensively, I think our activity, our togetherness on that end of the court is just fueling everything we do. I thought a huge stretch of the game with Giannis and Chris both on the bench as 2 of our leaders. The way that group was able to, play on both ends, I think sent us into the fourth quarter with a 4-6 point lead. That was just a huge stretch for us and our group. So really pleased with the way they played. I got to get ready to go back to Milwaukee and prepare and do it again.
Mark James, Nesson, and WEI Boston. Coach, what is, going back to that first game and what you guys have done the last 3 games, what would you attribute for this huge turnaround? You guys completely taken control of the series.
The word we've been using a lot is just our activity on both ends of the court, but particularly defensively. just think we're much more together. We're much more connected. We're helping each other. We're covering for each other. We're scrambling. And, hopefully been taking care of the boards. And then I think, similarly on offense, hopefully we're moving a little bit more, playing with pace, obviously. Giannis in the pick and roll as a ball handler and screener's good. So I'd say our bench has been huge for us, particularly George Hill and Pat Connaughton. But I thought your son makes a bunch of big plays for us. So I think just collectively, I think the group's very together and playing really well.
Eric named The Athletic, but this whole year you've talked about depth and how much it can mean to the team. A lot of times once the playoffs start, rotations get shorter. What do you think the bench has found, especially in that third quarter when they pull away here in the playoffs?
Well, hopefully it's some confidence that they've built up through the season. And, I think certainly their teammates have a ton of confidence in them. The starters, believe in the bench. They support them. I think they work hard. I just think they're playing with a lot of confidence. And, George, again, we've been talking about it the last few days. I think his experience is showing, his understanding of the moment. And he's just making big plays for us. And I think he's really I would say he's keeping the whole group really in a good place, but particularly that second unit, I feel like George is doing a really good job of orchestrating things on both ends of the court with that group.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ, and Coach, you have done so well in the third quarter, but you got a lot of firepower on the bench during your third quarter. At that point, are you thinking we just got to keep it tight here, or were you thinking that was a group that might be able to even extend a lead?
Yeah, if we're honest, you see Giannis and Chris go to the bench, you're concerned, but certainly have a ton of confidence, like we've just been talking about, that group can play, and they can really guard, and I think enough of them are finding ways to make plays offensively, and you felt it kind of change, and that they were maybe going to be able to, not only hold it tight but extend it, and we actually rode them a little bit longer. We're thinking about bringing them Chris or Giannis back, and that group just finished the quarter really well.
Coach Antonis Kalkavouras from Gazeta.gr from Greece. Despite the fact that you finished with the best record in the regular season, you guys are the only team in the second round of the playoffs with 3 wins in a row, with 2 breaks, with 2 wins on the road, and with 3 straight games with the bench scoring more points than the opponent team. Do you think that all these things show that you're built for something special this year?
Well, certainly, the way that the team played during the regular season and now has played to this point in the playoffs is encouraging, but, there's still a lot to be done. I think the group needs to stay, very hungry. We need to go back, look at the film. First quarters, we got to get better. But, I think we all believe that this is a special group, and we're just really focused on the next game. And, the mantra, we just get better every day. If we get better between now and Wednesday, if we get better from game 4 to game 5, that'll give us our best chance, and we'll just keep doing that day by day.
Matt, then Jeff, and then Ash.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. This is kind of a game where some teams might kind of get frustrated or sidetracked by the fouls, by the game not going their way. How do you guys maintain that poise?
Yeah, it's certainly not easy. There were times when it's just, I think we were frustrated, and, all year we've been talking about, it just has to be about us, the best we can, including me. We need to just ignore the referees and ignore the fans, ignore whatever circumstances. Things aren't going our way. You got to pull together even more, and, hopefully we've done it during the season, and, I think there's a real belief that we just got to stay together, ignore anything that's happening outside of our group, and just keep our focus and keep grinding.
Jeff Zogate, USA Today. Mike, when Giannis picked up his 5th foul, how difficult a decision was it to take him out then, and what went into the decision to sit him for the rest of the quarter?
Yeah, I think it was his 4th, but it was. And to be honest with you, I think keeping Giannis fresh is something that's important to us. So the point at which he picked up, I don't know, maybe he picked it up at the 8-minute mark, or was it the 4th? It's always hard to take out Giannis. Let's just start there. But I think at the end of the day, we also are conscientious of trying to keep him fresh, try and keep him, where he's got some juice left to finish the game. So he picks up his fourth. We felt like it's just, it's kind of a double whammy. Let's not let him get his fit, but let's also keep him fresh. Let's give him a break, put him back in the game when appropriate. So it's because of just our normal subs and rotations. It wasn't as tough to take him out.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. I was going to ask, was there any circumstance under which you would have brought Giannis back in the third? And given that you got to the fourth in good shape, how big a sense of relief was that you had ridden out that stretch?
Yeah, no, it was certainly, I think it was a huge uplifter for our group to ride that stretch out and, not only just ride it out, but to extend the lead or take a lead into the fourth quarter. And, as we're talking with assistants, I think there was definitely considerations of bringing back either Giannis or Chris before the end of the third quarter. But that group played so well. They allowed us to keep both Chris and Giannis out of the game and also, just getting prepared and ready for the fourth quarter.
Eric, last question.
Eric Name, The Athletic. But this is the last question, and we haven't talked about just how good Giannis was. The fact that he has 39 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists in a game on the road. Just obviously, I think it's tough to come up with words to describe it, but that's a pretty special performance.
Yeah, no, Giannis, it just, like you said, it's hard to find the words. What he does for our team, I think both ends of the court. He's so multifaceted, multidimensional, attacking in transition like a point guard, finding guys. I think, the kick out to Brooke was a huge three. His assists are huge. He gets to the free throw line. He's made 2 threes again tonight. He's just doing everything. And certainly don't want to take him for granted. His teammates appreciate him. The coaches, myself. He's special. But, he's very hungry. He wants more. And he's playing that way. Thank you.
Coach Stevens will be coming down shortly. Giannis, Chris, Eric for the Bucks, Kyrie for the Celtics.
Brad, Boston Sports Journal. Brad, it looked like Kyrie played the whole second half of there. Another tough shooting night for him. Do you feel like he kind of ran out of gas towards the end there? How do you kind of assess his night overall?
I thought he actually looked pretty good going to the basket there late. He had one rim out. He had a couple of others that he made. So, it's that time of the year where you've been building up towards that. And, I thought obviously by then we were playing from behind pretty good. So, I think he'd probably tell you he can play through.
Brad, Gary Washington, Boston Globe. You win game one, you look good. In the last 3 games, you just can't seem to figure them out. What do you say in terms of what's happened over the last week?
Yeah, it really boils down to these runs. You had the one at the end of the third this time, and then we made a nice run to get back in it, and then they just answered it right back. So we're playing well for a lot of the game in the last 2 games, and then letting go of it, especially on the defensive end of the floor. They had 27 points with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter, and they finished with 113. So that's without doing much math, I feel like that's 84 in the last 32 minutes. That's going to get you beat a lot.
Brad, John Corrales, MassLive.com. In the first half, it seemed like you were getting those attacks and second attacks that you were talking about. In the second half, it was a lot of jumpers, a lot of threes. What happened there, and why couldn't
some really good? There were some really good ones.
There were open
and there were a couple that weren't quite, were rushed a little bit. But one of the things I thought in the first half, we actually over-attacked on a couple of those. We had a shot or we had a play to the rim, and we were looking to spray it. We had a great mindset about us playing that way in the first half, and we missed some really good looks. And then in the second half, obviously, when you're trying to come back, I thought we tried to hit home runs on a couple of plays, but I thought we got a lot of good, threes. some of the other ones are tougher, when we're challenged in the paint and those type of things. But I thought we did a pretty good job of finding the right shot most of the night. But certainly those runs, you can look back and say those have gotten us, and those have usually included a lot of errors on both sides.
Coach, you guys are playing hard, and they're a very good team. Just like what Gary was asking about losing 3 straight games. Psychologically, what's the challenge to stay in it now?
It's win or go home. You do the same thing you've been doing all along. You play the next possession to win it, and that's it. You focus on that. It takes a lot of mental fortitude. It takes a lot of mental toughness, and it reveals a lot. And so, I'm looking forward to that challenge. We don't want to be in this position, but we are. And, we've got to go to Milwaukee and do everything we can to give ourselves another chance to play here on Friday night.
John Corrales, Mass Live. Can you explain the off-ball switches that got Kyrie onto Giannis? Because that seemed to happen often when he would get the ball, and it seemed like he punished those.
I thought that we did a really good job early in our matchups and such, and I thought that we waned a little late. He had not attacked the guard switch as much in the middle of the floor as he did tonight. In fact, he had passed it in almost every occasion up to this point. But we got on the side too much. And when you're isolated on the side with a guard, that's when he really goes to work in the post. And then he did drive it on our other guards a couple of times as well. So, long story short, some of those were things that we need to do a better job covering once the drive occurs, and some of those we need to avoid altogether.
Right, Gary Washburn again. The third quarter, Giannis and Middleton both had foul trouble.
Yeah, that was killer.
And Milwaukee built on the lead.
Yep.
Is their bench just basically outplaying your bench? I mean, it seemed like the lack of your bench is putting more pressure on the starters.
We had a lot of guys on the court at that time. I think their bench is just playing excellent. It's not bench versus starters, whatever you want to call it. Their bench comes in, they've had no drop-off. They've been excellent. Connaughton's been excellent. George Hill's been absolutely tremendous. Hats off to them, and, we need to all play better on Wednesday.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Brad, or no? What? Can you be typing Brad while you Did you not know you were typing? Sorry. We couldn't. You're kidding me. Okay. Yeah, because it was kept up. Okay. I thought we had a different room. All right, so go grab them out of the bags.
Questions, please, for Kyrie? Gary Washer, Boston Globe. You said that you'd be better in these games in Boston. You struggled in Game 3 and now Game 4, 7 for 22. What happened?
Missed shots. Shots just didn't go in. Go out and prepare. Like I said, sometimes they're going to go in, sometimes they aren't. They do a great job of loading too. So, making the paint look crowded whenever I'm driving or wherever I'm going on the court. Seeing 2 or 3 bodies, sometimes 4, still kicking out and trying to make the right plays. Just continue to do so. Now it's just time to get ready for Game 5.
Mark James, WEI, and NSN. You guys have lost 3 straight games, so now you have to win 3 in a row to advance in the series. What's your confidence level in this team to get by this series?
Well, that's unwavering. It's a game of basketball. At this point, we obviously understand the X's and O's. It's just going out and just trying to manage the game better. We tried to do that the last few games. Tonight, the 3rd and 4th quarter is where they made their money, as well as in the second, holding us to 19. They're doing a great job of making us make multiple efforts on both ends of the floor, putting us in some positions, putting some guys on different guys, driving the basketball to the rim, getting open layups, making the game easy for one another. They feel good about themselves, and you got to break a rhythm like that, and we fail to do so at certain points in the game where they've gone on runs, and it's shown.
Kyrie, Chris Gasper, Boston Globe. Have you ever had a 3-game stretch like this in the playoffs, and how mentally challenging is it?
What do you mean?
Have you ever had a shooting stretch like this? I think it's now at this point 19 for 62.
Yeah, who cares? I'm a basketball player. Prepare the right way. Like I said, it's a little different when your rhythm is challenged every play down. You're being picked up full court. They're doing things to test you, and the expectations on me are going to be sky high. And I try to utilize their aggression against them, and
still put my teammates in great positions while still being aggressive. I'm trying to do it all. So, for me, the 22 shots, I should have shot 30. It really not great of a shooter. So I think that just the consistency of just going at it, staying aggressive is always going to put us in a great position. Obviously, being more cautious on the turnovers, getting down the stretch when they're going on runs or managing the game better that way, I feel like I do better. But in terms of shooting, it's a series. We're doing a great job of loading, making sure they're putting a high emphasis on anywhere I go on the court.
Kyrie, Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. Obviously, you're the only guy in that locker room who has actually come back from down 3-1 in a series. Are there any comparisons that you can make to the way that series played out and this one has played out? And then what do you tell the guys about what it took for you to go through that experience and be successful?
It's hard to make any comparisons at that, at this stage, of anything. It's really hard because, you just have an appreciation of where you were at that time and the amount of experience that was garnered, throughout the series and throughout the playoffs and each of the runs. And that, as we, look at our run right now and what we're in, staying present, it's hard to bring back that emotion to it because, I think that the difference in level is just the experience. That's been the biggest thing for us this season as well as in this postseason. Getting tested at this point is just the basketball knowledge aspect of it. Mike Budenholzer is putting, myself, other guys in different positions where, you're asked to think multiple moves ahead. And, if you're not, then they'll force you into a tough shot. They're clogging the rim, they're help side. They're making sure that they're high hands in the passing lanes. They're putting Giannis at the rim, contesting everything. So they're making things difficult in that paint. We could, sit up here and say, like, okay, we need to do this right, we need this right. But at the end of the day, they're still going to make you think. And throughout the game, they've been making us think and making us kind of make reads, and we failed to do so at certain times. But in certain points in the game, we look really great. We feel really good. But once we take our foot off the gas pedal, they're coming right back at us with a play that they've run over and over again, putting us in rotation. So we just got to manage that better.
Kyrie, Idan Gadinsky, Sports 5. You left the court a few seconds before your teammates, before the game was over. What did you think in those seconds going into the locker room?
The game was over.
Kyrie, Adam Himmelsbach with Boston Globe. What are you seeing, or what have you seen in these 4 games that gives you confidence you guys can turn this around? Or are there things you guys can pull, and what needs to change, do you think?
Just their runs. Like I said, their runs, just managing their runs better. Mike does a great job of calling plays on the fly, plays that have worked all series. Know that, this is bread and butter. They're scoring a high clip on, these particular plays, these 3 plays, and regardless of whether we switch or make adjustments, he still knows that's something that they can go to. So I think that gives us confidence to look at film and know exactly what those plays are, but we just got to grab them better.
Final question, John, front row.
Kyrie, John Corrales, Mass Live. All season long, it seems like a habit of this team has been when shots aren't falling, that the defense seems to slip a little bit to allow these opponents to go on runs. Can you explain why that happens and why it's still happening in the playoffs?
Well, the ball doesn't go on the rim. The energy of the basketball can translate into the other end as well. That's just basketball 1-on-1. That's a choice that we all have to make. Just being more communicative. It's a natural thing as an individual when your shots aren't going into, be thinking about that shot as you go down the defensive position. It can take you out mentally where, the other team is running, especially in the playoffs where the possessions are magnitude, they're magnified unbelievably. And, it's been a consistent thing for us where we haven't made shots and the defensive end of the floor has taken lapses, but it just can't happen going forward. We have no choice. At this point, it's do or die.
Thank you, Kyrie. If you're just joining us late, Giannis, Chris, and Eric will be coming down for the Bucks together.
Some stuff up.
Cool.
So just bring this apparatus, or you can call me back if you want.
Cool.
And then steal the stools from the other end again.
Perfect.
So all right, and
Nice.
I'll start getting that ready.
Cool.
I also brought, you need another XLR, right?
Correct. I only have one.
I brought two. You only have
No, like one right here. There should
No,
be.
I'm saying, I brought two. We were only going to see
Perfect.
yesterday, so make sure you bring.
Yep.
Keep going.
Behind you. Sorry about that.
You are doing TV? I don't think so. We only care about Warriors Rockets. The only, I mean, I thought the only reason they didn't care about this game is Kyrie's really good or Kyrie's really bad. Michelle's doing a conference tour. I guess. That's true. You did I'll email. You want me to email him? He is. They already said Kyrie, so. You decide if you're staying or not? Oh, no, it's fine. I was just checking. Do what you gotta do, my man. When are you back on the road again? I'll see you. What's that? Thank you for that later. It's worth reading. Yeah, it's a crazy article. It's really good. When are you back on the road again? Comics finals? You only do it west, or you do both? Oh, good. All right, we'll hang plenty. I'll see you in 40 minutes. Oh, okay. No, I was just making sure. Cool. I'll be over here. Put that okay.
Your best. So far.
Eric named The Athletic. Giannis, I think everyone was kind of thinking, okay, you pick up your fourth with 8:18 left. What are the Bucks going to do? And obviously they have a huge hand. Your bench steps up. These guys step up. Just what did it mean to you that in that moment it was your depth that gets you through?
It's amazing, man. We got 12 guys in the team, and they're all great NBA players. And it's amazing to see that the bench can, keep playing hard, keep defending hard, and set the tone for us. I think I was in the bench, Chris was on the bench, Bledsoe was on the bench. I think they've done a great job all series, and they've been the difference maker in this series. So it's great to have guys that can step up like that from the bench.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Chris, just what is it about you guys as a team that the shots aren't falling consistently? There's a lot of fouls piling up, and yet collectively you maintain that level of poise as a group.
That's just having confidence in one another. When the game's not going our way, we get in foul trouble. We can't make shots. We knew at some point those shots were going to start falling. I mean, we had a lot of great looks, missed some layups, but we knew we kept trusting ourselves, kept trusting the offense. Eventually the shots were going to start falling. And that's what we just try to do. We just try to stay with it no matter how the game's going. That as long as we keep playing defense, we're going to keep ourselves in the game and give us a chance to win at the end.
Steve Eshman, NBA.com. First for Chris, you got your fourth foul and sat down after Giannis. Was there an extra sense of frustration because that would have been an opportunity for you to maybe pick up slack or do whatever you need to do on the court. Or here you had to go sit down next to him.
I mean, I picked up the fourth. I mean, of course I was frustrated about the foul trouble I was in, but it was a foul. Had to sit down, but like I said, I mean, this isn't the first time I've been in foul trouble all season long or Giannis or Bled where, you know, we feel like we have to stay out there and force the issue. We know that we can rely on our bench to come in and get it going or keep it going.
And then for you and Giannis, when you did get back on the floor for the fourth quarter, having not just ridden out that stretch, but your team actually extended the lead, what was your feelings and thoughts then in terms of, 12 more minutes to go?
For me, keep the lead and close the game out. That's what we paid to do. That's what we're here to do. I think that's what our team wants us to do, and that was my mindset.
Elizabeth from Titan Sports China. Marcus Smart's returned to the game tonight. So did he make any impact on the game tonight?
Marcus Smart is a great player. He brings a lot to the team. Obviously, he set the tone for them. I think when he came in, they were playing harder, they were moving the ball. He's a great facilitator. He did not knock down shots today, but he's a dangerous player, so we gotta keep him in check. But for sure, he's a great addition. That he came back is great for them.
Greg, you next, and then Bob.
Greg Matzik from WTMJ. Chris, with you and Giannis on the bench, and ultimately Eric joined you. Third quarters have been so strong for you guys, and at the time Giannis went out, I think it was 59-59. Is that a spot where you thought, man, if we could just keep this tight, we're going to be in great shape, and then all of a sudden you just sort of saw the lead start to get a little bigger and bigger?
No, for sure. I mean, as we're sitting there and watching the game, I think I told Malcolm Brogdon maybe we were up 2 or 4 with I think 6 or 7 minutes left in the third quarter. I think something like that. I said this is a great spot to be in. I mean, we're on the road in a playoff game, hostile environment. Most of our starters are in foul trouble. We're not having a good game going, and we're still in this game. It's still a winnable game for us. So for us to get back in that fourth quarter, we knew just keep our foot on the gas, keep pushing the pace, keep just flying around on defense and trying to make everything tough for them.
Bob Schramm, the Citizen. Glad your career, in the beginning of your career, was offense and a lot of individual stuff. Now, before the game, Coach was talking about your game and said that the defense you're playing in this series has been overlooked. Can you talk about what's going on with you in this series and where it's going, please?
I gotta credit my teammates. I'm not shooting the ball, as great as I like to, but mainly Giannis and Chris keep telling me to stay aggressive. I think I told this story back there. Last game was game 2, game 3. Chris kind of got on me a little bit. He thought I was selling it too much. In this game, I just try to get downhill, get into the paint. If I got a shot, shoot. If I don't, kick it out. But I think defense, my teammates got my back. I try to just play hard as I can. On defense. Be everywhere. For them. I came over with a couple blocks today. But we was in scramble mode all game, so I just credit them.
Giannis, Mark James, Nesson, you've shot an extremely high percentage over the course of the last 3 games, especially tonight. The Celtics just can't seem to defend you. So how, if you were on the opposing side, would you defend you?
How would they defend me? Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. I'll probably try to be as physical as you can get, and that's what Boston, the players have been doing the whole series. And at the end of the day, they gotta let me shoot jump shot, and that's what they've been doing so far. So I really don't know what to say. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to keep trying to make plays, keep trying to go downhill, keep trying to lead in the free throw line, and keep finding my teammates.
Jeff, and then
so that's a good question.
Jeff Goodman of Stadium. For any of you guys, what's the biggest difference between this Celtics team this year and the one you played a year ago at this time?
I wouldn't say it's a difference between them. I mean, I think it's us. I mean, we don't really worry about them at all, who we're playing against, who they have on their roster or whatnot. All we do is worry about ourselves and our team and what we need to do.
Giannis, I think we're at a spot where just about everyone's going to say, this is the biggest game of your career. This is the biggest game of your career. Game 3 on the road, 1-1. This is the biggest game of your career. People are going to keep saying stuff like that. What has it meant to you to go out and perform in these games when the pressure is that high, when people are thinking about all of that?
Man, I really do not, think about if this is the biggest game of my career. All I'm thinking about is I just got to do whatever it takes to win. Going into a game, I think going to game 3 was more pressure. But we were able to, get that one. Going to game 4 now, as a team, we're in a good spot to, take the lead, be up 2 games, and you're going to use this opportunity, or you're just going to waste this opportunity. And even I was talking to Bledsoe a little bit. I told him like, great teams and great players, they don't, when they find an opportunity like this, they don't, waste it. You got to take advantage of it. You got to close the game out, and that's what my mindset both games, but especially this game. And at the end of the day, when I step on the court, I got to do whatever it takes for my team to win. If it's that block shot and shoot 7 shots or 10 shots, that be it. It doesn't really matter. But this game is the past. Now we got to go play game 4, game 5 at home, and hopefully we'll come back in Boston.
Last one. Antonis Kalgavouras from Greece, from Gazeta. I will speak in English this time. Okay. So the question is for all 3 guys. After finishing with the best record in the regular season, you are the only team with 3 wins in a row in the second round of the playoffs. The only team with 2 road wins, and it's pretty obvious that you are for real and you are built for something special. How easy it's for you guys, after these 2 great wins here in Boston, to say we are just focused for the next game?
I feel like I don't care about that. Chris, mentioned it earlier that, we focus on each other and what it takes. So, we're not worried about, other teams. We're going to keep, staying, locked in. We're going to keep coming with us with a great game plan. We're just going to have fun out there.
I'm just going to